Hey, it's part 3 of the Super Base project, and I'm out here just cutting the lawn. Whew, it's really hot, but you're not going to want to miss any part of this series because it starts out just a simple little thing. I was going to slap together a neck and a body and have just a cool little base. Then I just went crazy and started doing a whole lot of stuff to it. Turned out this is probably my most creative, ambitious, experimental project that I've ever done, guitar-wise. So watch this part and the rest of them. All right, cool. Here I am today working on the Dirty Raspberry bass, or otherwise known as the Beetlejuice guitar, or Beetlejuice bass. Coming up with different names. I called it the Dirty Raspberry because of this dirty raspberry color, and I really liked it, and that's kind of why I bought this body off of a website that has discounted guitar parts, and this was kind of a mid-production thing. I got it pretty cheap, and I thought I'd have a little bit of fun with it. And as I do with a lot of projects, it changes and evolves as I'm doing it, and there's nothing different about this one. It's certainly evolved and changed. Originally I wanted to keep that raspberry color because I really liked it, but it's come to the point where I made a few changes. Those few changes mean that I have to do some plugging or some filling of some areas that I've already routed. That means the paint job is going to be kind of spoiled. To leave it this way. So, you know, I'm going to redo it. I'm going to repaint it. Right now I'm thinking a flame job, which I think is kind of cool. The changes that I'm making, originally I routed for 4 steel bars, which I then attached the pickups to. And it's the first time I've done this with a bass. And then I thought, well, to take full advantage of this, I want to bring these bars right down into the neck pocket. But 2 steel bars are kind of awkward to arrange properly. So I went with a huge steel bar down the middle. You can't get much bigger than that, I don't think. And then 2 skinny ones along the side. And here, once it's cut to this size. So that's what I'm sticking with. So I have to patch and fill some spaces to accommodate the new design. So like I said, I have to strip the body, plug it and fill it, and then we'll think about the paint job. And so the project continues and evolves and moves on. Okay, so I finally come up with what I need to do to get to where I want to be with this. So what I got to do is I want to fill in a space in the control cavity here, so that there's wood underneath where the cover will go. And I can't just glue it in with this paint on here. It's not going to stick. I have a router bit, and I replaced the bearing on it. So what I actually did was I put a smaller bearing on it. The bearing will ride along where the wood is, and I'll actually take off, that's almost 1/8 of an inch. But that's fine because that'll be bare wood that I can glue a piece of, that's a piece of poplar. I just stick it in there, and then there'll be a base for the pick guard to screw to. The other area is up around this top part here. Originally I had it routed out about 3 inches up into here, and I decided that's too much. I don't want to do that. I want to bring it back to about this line here. So it means I have to fill all of this in, and this is kind of an awkward, messy area. I haven't Originally what I was going to do is round this off nice and clean. I haven't gotten to that part yet. So for this I pretty much have to do the same thing. I'll just round it off nice, and then I'll cut. I have a thin piece that I'll cut to fit in here. And it's only really the top part up here, because down here that's where the bigger steel bar will go. So that'll be routed out. So it's just really up on the top part up here that I have to worry about. So I'll fit that in and glue it, and that'll take care of that. So what else? Oh, the volume pot, the volume and the tone pots. I decided to rearrange the configuration. Instead of these 4 Les Paul sort of diamond shape. I'm going to rearrange so that there's 4 just kind of in a line along the bottom. So I have these little pieces of dowels, and I will just cut. Once I strip the body, I'll drill these out to the same diameter as this and trim these down a little bit and just plug them, and then re-drill later on for the new holes. So that all should work out, and that's the plan so far. So let's see how well that all turns out. There they are, all my plugs. They've all been trimmed. They fit into the spaces that I routed out. This one, honest to God, I did not make it look like that. It's just the way it turned out. It looks like a dink. Anyway, that fits up in here. And then the other one for that, that's for the part of the access cover support. And there's plenty of room left over for the pickup switch, the 3-way switch that goes in there. This long piece goes in here for the support. Yeah, and I made there's like a little shelf it sits on, a lot of space for it to be glued onto. That's the support for the access cover. And then I cut these little dowels and drilled out where the volume pots and the tone pots go, and I'll just glue those in there. And then once the glue's dried, I'll just trim these with the router so they're level with the rest of the body. And then after that, it's strip the paint off time, and this will all get sanded smooth. The rest of it, most of these seams will be underneath the access cover like here, so I don't have to worry about how good they are. This one up here, this one will be exposed, but I'll just get it as best I can. You won't see it, but eventually through humidity changes and stuff like that, through the paint you will see a little line. No big deal. This is just an experimental fun project that I'm working on, so that's kind of what I do for these things. So there we go, on to the next step. Now this looks like some kind of crazy mess. Clamps all over the place, glue, messy. But at this stage I can kind of be messy because all that paint's coming off anyways. I got to trim all these with a router. So let that dry up before I can do anything else.